today finds you well. It's Sunday evening and it's gone 7. Carl's watching the football. I've brought myself upstairs. The plan was to do some sewing, but I had a lovely afternoon chatting with some fellow sewers. So I thought I'd share what I've been up to, because I've been inspired just talking sewing with other sewing people. I didn't feel I had a lot to share with you, but now I'm up here and I've had a little think about it, I do have some bits and pieces. The first thing I've got to show you are the 3 rompers that I had planned on making. That's the last of the baby stuff. I've got to get it off to Australia, otherwise the little one will be, too big for it, or too big for them. He's 4 months old now, but he's wearing 6 to 9 month old clothes. They're still a bit big, but he's very long in the body. So without further ado, and let's get talking sewy things rather than me waffling on. I have the first one, which is this lovely grey. It's like, if you've seen my previous videos, it's like the rompers that I've already made. So it's a tie top, no poppers at the bottom, little elastic feet, and a machine embroidered yacht. They wanted either sea themed stroke seaside themed things because they live in Brisbane, quite close to the sea, or as the nursery is jungle animals, and I think they want to get him interested in jungle animals and animals of all sorts, animal themed. So the next one is this beautiful cinnamon coloured double gauze. Love this colour. I've got to get some for myself. Puffish, take me to the ocean. Again, machine embroidered. And lastly, this lovely yellow, and this is so fun, this design, and really appropriate for Australia. It is a crocodile with water skis. How cool is that? I really like that. So that's what I've been sewing for the bubba. Most of my time seems to have been spent this last month in March making curtains, which I'm not going to show you because they're not that interesting. But I've got a huge bay window. It's a Victorian semi I live in, and there's a bay window and a huge big single door sized window. And because it's tall ceilings, even though the bedrooms are smaller ceiling than the downstairs, the windows require at least 100-inch curtains, and I had 5 of those to do, lined, and my husband can't tolerate light coming in through curtains these days, so I had to use the blackout lining, which made them even heavier. So they seem to take forever to do. So I did that, made my frugal frock, which I did share on Instagram. I'll pop in some photos of me wearing it, and I might even pop in some photos of it inside out just to show you the workings. So I got the frugal frock done, and the rest of the month now has been me cutting out and not drafting but hacking an existing pattern. It's the McCall's dress pattern that I talk about all the time, but the bodice pattern for me has proved to fit me really nicely, so I'm really happy to hack that, but I'll tell you about that in a minute. I watched Alex Judge's latest video yesterday, was it? And yes, it was yesterday. If you don't follow Alex Judge, I'll put her details below. I love watching her vlogs. I've followed her from the beginning. She's been doing it a year? Or was it 2 years? Do you know, I can't remember. Anyway, she's got a really nice sense of style, and she's 50, but she doesn't want to be old. And I don't mean that in a mutton dressed as lamb sort of, she doesn't want to be old, but she wants to be stylish. That's the better way of putting it. So I hope I haven't caused offence there for you, Alex. But she was wearing a jumper that she'd made out of a merino wool. Now, I've had some grey faux cashmere that I bought from TFG Fabrics. I don't think it's still in. If it's still in, I'll put a link for it down below, but I've not known what I wanted to make with it. I knew I wanted to make some sort of sweater, but I didn't want a sort of a sweater that was banded at the bottom, i.e. clinging to the hips. I just didn't know really what I wanted to do with it. And I watched Line of Duty, and Kate, the lead character Kate, came in on scene wearing a lovely grey sweater hoodie, but very fine knit, and I thought it looked really nice, sort of the old athleisure look, but in a sweater rather than sweatshirting or French terry. And I thought it looked really, really chic, I suppose. And I thought I want to do that. The only sweatshirt pattern I had for myself was a Tilly and the Buttons pattern that I got free with Love Sewing magazine. Was it last year or the year before last now? And I traced it all out yesterday, and I'm looking at it, and it's quite shaped and quite slim fitting. And I've traced out my size, which is, I always go for a size 6 in Tilly's patterns. And there was no way I could box it out. The only way would be to either go out at a diagonal, and I didn't want A-line, or go up a couple of sizes. And because it's a set-in sleeve, there was just, well, it's not a set-in sleeve, it's just slightly off shoulder sleeve, but it would have just looked big, as though I've made something too big for me. So that was a no-no. Anyway, back to Alex. She was showing this jumper that she has made, and I think she's made 2 jumpers. I think she made a 12 first before using her expensive merino wool fabric, and some t-shirts as well, which again, she's inspired me. The pattern is, I can't remember the name of it, but I'm going to put a picture up in the details when I come to edit this. But it's Pattern Emporium, and it's a lovely batwing style sweater hoodie. There are different versions. You can have like a relaxed neck, you can have a crew neck, or you can have a hoodie. And this is the back piece I've cut out, and this is the faux cashmere, but this is the shape of the sleeve, if you can see that. And then it's just one of those really nice, still pinned on, it's one of those really nice hood shapes, just 2 pieces. So it's rounded, but it have that little sort of flat pixie look when it's actually down, which is nice. It's not bulky. No ties, I don't think, but I thought I could have that. And that's the beauty of PDFs. I'm not really a big PDF person, to be honest. I don't mind sticking together if I've got the time, but it's when it's sort of millions of pages. But this was for my size, and for, because I listened to what Alex said, cause she's a 14, 16 on top, the same as me, and but she wanted a slightly relaxed fit on it, so she went up to the 18, and it looked really nice. It didn't look at all oversized or big. It just gave it the fabric a nice drape. So I've gone and done the same. It's a really easy pattern. Now I've only got the basic Adobe on my Mac, so I couldn't print off the single size layers, but it's not too confusing. And there was, for my size, 19 pages to pin together, not pin together, glue together, and they came together really easy. And essentially 3 pieces to cut, front, back, and the hood. You will need wide fabric because of the sleeves, with it all being 1 piece. I suppose if you're really clever, oh, and there's a cuff and a hemband. I shall see what it looks like once it's finished. I've gone for the regular hip length, and that's for 5'5". I'm 5'4". I'm long in the body, so I'm not sure if I will need to put the cuff on or not. But it's not a pull you in cuff. It's sort of a relaxed cuff. So I shall see how that goes, but I'm really quite excited. It was just so nice to sort of get it printed off, pinned out and cut out last night. So I was doing that, and as I was doing that, I thought I would do what I've been wanting to do. The sagebrush top has been really popular, and I was chatting with the ladies today about how many patterns are so similar, and that's whether that's an indie pattern or a big four pattern, but they're very, very similar, and how it's so easy to get in the bandwagon. Oh, I'm going to buy this pattern, and then another pattern comes out that's very similar, but it's a different designer, and you get that and you get that, and before you know it, you've got a whole stash of patterns that really one would have done. And all it takes is a little bit of practice or confidence and just a bit of paper to see if you can hack it. Now, as I say, I'm using my tried and true McCall's dress bodice, which is essentially just a round neck, set in short sleeves, and it is supposed to be a tiered dress. But what I'm going to do, and what I am doing at the moment, I'm redoing it's just a normal set-in sleeve that's straight and to the elbow, but the sage has the old poofy sleeves. I don't want them too poofy, so I've been doing the old splitting and slashing of the sleeve pattern piece to make a bit of a poofy sleeve, and I've already cut the front bodice piece in half, added some seam allowances to then insert the frill, and the bottom piece I've just not A-lined it out. I've just added, when I folded the fabric, I've added an extra an extra half the width again, so that I can gather it up underneath the ruffle. And I'm going to do a double-sided ruffle. I had thought of rolled hemming it, get my teeth in, but the fabric that I've chosen, it's a fabric I've had in my stash for, well, I can tell you how long. It's about 3.5 years. Today is my boys' 3rd wedding anniversary, and they got married. They live in Australia, as I've already said, and they got married in Thailand, partly because they had friends in Australia, and they've also got friends and family here in the UK. It was only a small affair. It was 30 of us all together, and we all went out there for about 10 days. So it was a holiday with the wedding in the middle. And they'd been to Thailand. They spent about 3 years, was it? Something like that, on sort of 2 lots of long stays teaching out there for, I think, about a total of 3 years. So Thailand held a special place to them. So we went out to Thailand, because really hot, right in sort of, I think it's before the rainy season started, but it very, very humid, so it's lots of loose clothes. And there was a seller on eBay who used to sell the most lovely viscoses. All came from India, really cheap. And I just made lots of sun frocks, little sun tops, and I had some fabric left in my stash. I don't know how much it is, and it's just such a pretty colour. How's that for colour? It's not very wide. How wide is it? Well, that's half width, so that's what? Half width is, that's 23, so it's 46 inches. 46 inches wide, but I do have a good 2.5 metres of that, so I thought that would be my wearable toile. So that's next for cutting. Once I've done these sleeves, I've done the top half. I'm just in the middle of doing the spreading of the bottom half of the sleeve. So that'll be another thing, another make to look out for. And that's it. Oh, and the last thing is I am making I'll put a picture up, the McCall's high-waisted trousers. And I've got, it's all on the pattern's all cut out, so I'll just show these spare pieces. It's not really going to show up. This I got from, I've had this again for another couple of years in my stash. I got this from Fabworks, who do some really lovely suitings, and this is this is gorgeous. It's a fine wool suiting. I mean, look at that. I mean, it's really beautiful. I believe it's Italian, and I think it was something ridiculous, like £8 a metre, and I've used shy of 2 metres, I think it is, maybe a bit more, but absolutely stunning. So I'm looking forward to making those. I spent 2 days making making calico toiles. I have not made McCall's trousers before, so I thought I'd better do that, because I usually have to make adjustments both to the length of the crotch, because I'm very long bodies, long in the waist down to my crotch line. I should say crotch, because crotch sounds awful, doesn't it? And I do have a bottom, so I checked the measurements on the pattern and did the toile, and the pattern and the toile obviously matched up lengthwise, and because it's high-waisted and they've added that extra, I didn't have to add any extra to the length of the crotch line. I did have to put, I call it my little wedgie, just as the crotch curve finishes, just at the top of that I put in about 1 inch, and that just gives me that little extra to go over my bottom, because if I don't do that, it's not pleasant from behind. It's the old, my bum cheeks start to eat up the fabric. And the other thing I had to do, I never ever touch the curve, because for 2 reasons. One, I don't usually have to, because that's never an issue. It's more to do with length for me. But once you start playing around with the curve, it can really mess up the pattern. But it's a built-in fly front on these trousers, and then you've got the curve that goes out, and it's really sharp. And when I tried on, this is why it's so good to make a toile. When I tried on the toile, it was doing the old pulling right across the front, and the old cat's whiskers, which I never have. If anything, I have too much fabric down there and have to take some up. So I've sorted that out. So hopefully they're going to... I had salad for tea tonight, and I think the seller is repeating on me. Too much information, I suppose. Anyway, so I'm going to do those this week as well. It's the jumper first, because I want to get that done. I'm looking at it there. I can't wait. Oh, I can't wait. And then the trousers, and then the top, because there's not a rush. Now, I did want to make a dress for my birthday, because my birthday is next month, and it's a big one. It's my 60th, and it'll be my second lockdown birthday. But I don't know if I'm going to have time to do that, and I don't want to sort of pressure myself into making a dress, because I'm a slow sewer, and I actually quite like sewing slowly. I'm a bit pernickety, and I do like to finish things off nicely, and I don't like to rush. So I'm quite happy to be a slow sewer. And I know we won't be going anywhere, but there's a lovely family, 50, 60 years this restaurant's been going in my town. It's family owned. It's just gone through the generations, and with lockdown they've been doing a takeout menu, so I think we'll be stopping in and having a takeout menu. But I did fancy dressing up. I don't think I'm gonna have a chance to make a dress, so I shall actually show you the famous McCall's dress in its full glory, because I made that, because I've only used it thus far to make blouses and tops and not a dress. But last year I had some beautiful yellow fabric that I again got a long while ago from Sew Me Sunshine, and it was just perfect for a summer dress. So I made it up, and of course summer ended, and lockdown came, and that was it. Well, lockdown didn't really come till Christmas, but the weather changed, and so it's not been worn. It's hanging in my wardrobe, not been worn. So I'm looking forward to showing you that, and so that means I'll get to show you the famous McCall's dress. And 2 more things. I don't usually do fabric hauls. I'm not into fabric hauls. partly I don't watch them because I have enough fabric of my own to go through. The only fabrics I've bought in recent times have been things like bottom weight fabrics, i.e. corduroys, denims, and I've bought a couple, some linen for me to make some trousers later on, only because it was a good price. But with regards to the, I'm saying a lot. I'm starting to sound like Prince Charles. Sad news about Prince Philip. I'm not a royalist. I'm half German. I'm very much a Republican. But Duke of Edinburgh's made my brother find a place years and years ago, when he was one of those, like many teenage boys, a bit lost. So he ended up camping up Mount Snowdon to get his bronze. And of course the Queen's lost her companion, and that's sad for anyone. Anyway, enough of that. What was I saying? Oh, fabric. Was I talking about fabric? See, that's what happens when you get to my age. The old brain goes to fug. Anyway, that's it. So I only buy sort of bottom weight things as and when I need them. I have a lot of viscoses and cottons in my stash, so I'm trying to sort of go through those. So I'm not really interested in watching people's fabric stashes, or fabric hauls I should say, because all the new fabrics tend to pop up on Instagram anyway. That said, I couldn't resist. I've been ogling this fabric from Fabric Godmother for a couple of months now. It's a big cat fabric, and I just have to have a big cat fabric, and it's gorgeous, but it's the wrong colour for me. It's a dark khaki green, but I just love the design on it, and it's a viscose twill, so it's a nice heavy weight. So I thought, well, I can't wear it against my skin, but it's nice with heavyweight. Be ideal for a skirt, not trousers. I'm not big into pattern trousers. I used to be, but not now. So I thought I could make a skirt, a nice long midi, a proper midi, you know, the lowest part of my calf skirt, just to show off the print, because it's a fairly biggish print. It's not huge, but it's a little bit bigger than I thought. And I kept putting it off, and then of course she had a sale at Easter for 15% off, so it had to be done, didn't it? So there's that, and some gingham. Oh, that's just reminded me of another plan. Some gingham, and the yarn dyed gingham, not the printed gingham, because it's easier for matching and lining up, because the print can be a bit skew-if. But all the ones that were still in stock were either the navies or not the black, because that's been quite a popular colour combo, the black and white, but the navies. And that reminds me too much of school, because I wore gingham at school in the summertime. But I did find a seller who hasn't got any left. I think she was an Etsy seller, and I know it was the last of it, but I found some pink gingham. So just your bog standard gingham, but it's 100% cotton and it's yarn dyed, so no skewy squares. Something like my hacked stage top, sorry I'm wobbling, will be the make that I think I'm going to do. Now this, it's lovely, it's lovely, lovely, lovely. Actually, it's more of an ochre khaki colour. But look at this. It's not been washed. Oh, it's upside down. Not been washed down. I've had to bring it upstairs to overlock it, because I always overlock my fabrics before I put them in the machine. Otherwise, I get this horrible tangled mess of threads. Might take it out, but look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And then there's a birdie somewhere. There we go. So I had to have it. I had to have it. So I've got 3 meters of it, so it'll be a pretty long full-on skirt, because I don't think... Tell me what you think. It's not really my colours. It's difficult to tell because I've got the over... It's not dark outside, but It's dark. It was dark enough to put the light on up, and I had to put the blinds down to counter the light coming through. Do you think that makes me look pale? I don't know. Let me know what you think, because it's wide. Is it wide? I think it's quite. No, it's. What's that? 46 inches. It's beautiful. So that's that. And oh, I haven't dug it out. I should dig it out for next vlog. But I had. Where are we? I've had this. This is thanks to the Frugal Frocks. I'm going through all my patterns. Now this wasn't a free pattern, so I wouldn't have been able to use it on, well, it's not a frock, but I could have hacked it into a frock. I wouldn't have been able to use it because I did buy this one, but I went through all my patterns. But I'm going to make this. Now you can't see, can you see on the, no, you can't see, the line drawings don't show, but some of the options have pin tucking. I don't know if I'm going to do the pin tucking with the fabrics that I've got, but it's something to think about, because it's a little square that goes in the yokes there. I had thought, actually, of even the gingham doing some hand smocking. I haven't done that since junior school, so I'd have to practice, but it's button through. It's not a slip-on, but I've actually got a ready-to-wear linen blouse like this, button through, round neck, 3/4 sort of gathered into a little, it's not even a cuff, is it? It's just a pull through, and it's the nicest thing to wear in the summer because it's got a little bit of fitting, but it's loose again. I won't be making, well, I could wear that with a t-shirt under. I don't show my arms, not anywhere between my elbow and my shoulder, because they're horrid. Oh, I had lovely arms, but it's my body and it's life, so there you go, and I'm proud of my life. So that is what I'm planning to make. The fabrics are sort of under a pile on the couch. I've got a couch in my sewing room, and everything just gets plonked on there of what I want to do, because if I just put it back in their boxes, I forget about it. But I've got some broad round glazes and a printed linen, so that'll be a video for next time, I think. Well, no, next time's video will hopefully be some makes. So without further ado, because I think I'm starting to prattle, I'm going to have to go through this and make some notes, because I can't remember what I've promised to put down below and what pictures I've promised to put in. And I hope this, as I say, finds you well. Take care now. I'm hoping the weather is going to get warmer again. You know, we have the hottest bloody sort of March on record, and then it goes cold and snowed the other day. It has snowed. My birthday's May 3rd, and on my 18th birthday, and I'm in the southeast, on my 18th birthday, my old teammate, long rest his soul, he was in the war, he was a Royal Merchant, not Royal Merchant, he was a Royal Navy seaman, Chief Stoker he was. We used to take the mickey out of him. Lovely man. His dear old mum used to make the best bread pudding. But he took me for my first legal drink to a pub around the corner from where I work. Times changed, because years later there was no way you could drink and be on duty at the same time. But yes, I remember sitting, looking out the window and saying, Billy Cocky, his name was, lovely man, Billy, it's snowing. And he said, no, you've had too much to drink. And I said, no, I'm only drinking a lager, and I've only had a little one. And there it was snowing, May 3rd, when was I 18? 1979. Dear oh my. Anyway, as I said, I'm prattling on. Love you and leave you. Hope to see you soon. You take care now. And, oh, before I forget, I'm starting to sound like Claire. Claire who makes things. Do you watch her? I'll link her below. She's lovely. She's very much a crafty person. I don't think she's been dressmaking for that long. But she is a sewist, and she does the most amazing free motion hem machine embroidery sewing. I used to do that quite a lot. I haven't had the inclination to do it for a long while, but she does the most beautiful bits and pieces. Big Mandy Shaw fan. Anyone that does any sort of red work will know who Mandy Shaw is. But she's lovely, and she's a kindred spirit in that she likes to talk just like me, and she's really nice. So if you've got a moment, go and see her channel too. And I think that was it. Is that it? Have I come to the end? I think I have. I bet you as soon as I stop videoing it, I'll think of something else to say. Or was I going to say something else? Anyway, before I bore you to tears, bye now.